The year was 1944. A cold, fading sun fell over the Normandy bocage, where shadows were thicker than air. A German infantryman, a veteran since Poland, pressed himself into the damp earth, hands trembling as he slid a 5-round stripper clip into his Kar 98K. He had done this 1,000 times before, but this time, the air felt wrong. From the hedgerows ahead, he expected the slow, deliberate crack of enemy bolts, the rhythm of men fighting the same kind of war. Instead, he heard something else. A roar, continuous, furious, mechanical, like a machine gun that never stopped. But the sound wasn't uniform. Each shot had its own sharp, distinct voice. Not a single gun, but dozens. In 30 seconds, his entire 3-man section vanished into the foliage, cut down before a single German could even aim. He stared at his rifle, the same model his father had carried in 1918, and then at the forest that spat a wall of fire back at him. In that moment, he realized something far more terrifying than tanks or planes. He wasn't just outnumbered. He was outgunned at the level of the individual man. In the chaos of that firefight, the German officer didn't just lose his men. He lost the logic of the war he thought he understood. For 5 years, the Wehrmacht had built its strength on precision, on the belief that discipline, marksmanship, and the might of the MG-42 could crush any enemy that dared to advance. Every manual, every field order, was built on the same foundation: control the fire. But the Americans were rewriting that rulebook in real time. From behind every hedgerow, from every muddy foxhole, their rifles didn't pause, they roared. They didn't need a machine gun team to hold a line. Every single soldier was a line. For the first time, the German High Command asked the question they were never prepared to ask. How could a supposedly untrained army of farmers, students, and factory workers match the firepower of Germany's elite? The answer would come not from courage, but from a small, elegant weapon that changed the definition of what a rifleman could be: the M1 Garand. The German army prided itself on logic, a doctrine measured in angles, distances, and precision. Their blueprint was simple. One machine gun ruled the squad. The MG-42, terrifying, elegant, mechanical perfection. 1,200 rounds per minute. Its sound a tearing canvas, a storm in metal. Every German platoon was built around it. The riflemen? They weren't the killers. They were the guardians, feeding ammunition, defending the machine gun like a holy relic. Their rifles, the Karabiner 98K, beautiful, accurate, and hopelessly slow. The ritual of fire was ancient. Pull bolt, lift, drag, push, aim, shoot. 15 rounds per minute if you were perfect. And in war, perfection dies first. Across the line, the Americans carried a different rhythm. Their rifle was not a relic. It was a revolution. The M1 Garand didn't ask for perfection. It gave it. 8 rounds, fired as fast as a man could pull the trigger, then that sharp metallic note, ping. A brief silence, and another magazine slammed home in seconds. No bolt, no hesitation, no pause to breathe. It wasn't one machine gun leading the squad anymore. It was 10. And the geometry of German firepower, the math that had won half of Europe, just collapsed. The warnings had come months before. Reports from North Africa, from Kasserine, from Tunisia, had whispered of an American rifle that never stopped firing. Berlin dismissed them as exaggerations. Impossible, they said. No army could afford to give every man a self-loading rifle. It defied logic. It defied German production reality. But on June 6, 1944, the illusion died on the beaches of Normandy. At Omaha, the 352nd Infantry Division faced something they'd never imagined: an army that didn't pause to reload. Every American soldier seemed to carry his own machine gun. German reports that day used strange, uncertain words. Continuous rifle fire exceeding normal machine gun density. No pause for bolt manipulation observed. It wasn't chaos. It was synchronization, a human wave of semi-automatic precision. Each ping of an empty clip was followed by another burst, and another, and another. The German defenders, trained to suppress, now found themselves suppressed. The doctrine that had defined the Wehrmacht since 1918, the geometry of the MG-42 and the precision of the Kar 98K, collapsed in one morning of fire and fog. The machine gun was no longer the center of the squad. The rifleman was. The M1 Garand was not born in a palace of generals, nor in the secret bunkers of scientists. It came from a place more ordinary. Springfield Armory, Massachusetts. A workshop of machinists, draftsmen, and a quiet Canadian immigrant named John C. Garand. While Germany dreamed of elite weapons for elite soldiers, America dreamed of mass perfection. A rifle for every man, no matter his rank, his age, or his hands. Garand's genius wasn't just in design, it was in understanding the factory. He built a weapon for production, not for prestige. From 117 man-hours per rifle in 1940 to just 31 by 1945. A miracle of assembly lines and logistics. Each rifle identical, each part interchangeable, each trigger forged from the same idea, that equality could be engineered. While German factories hand-fitted and polished, Springfield ran 24 hours a day, machines humming like a symphony of democracy. By D-Day, America had produced over 3 million M1 Garands. That number wasn't just a statistic. It was the difference between holding a beach and losing a continent. Wars are not just fought with courage, they are fought with numbers. The M1 Garand wasn't only a rifle, it was the tip of an industrial machine that never slept. Springfield Armory, Winchester, International Harvester, each factory part of a vast nervous system that fed rifles to the front at the rhythm of a heartbeat. In January 1944, Springfield alone produced 122,000 rifles. That's one every 20 seconds. Each perfectly machined, each fully interchangeable. You could take a bolt from Illinois and lock it into a rifle built in Massachusetts, and it would fire flawlessly. German engineers, studying captured Garands, were stunned. Their report read, "Mass production techniques demonstrated here are beyond our current capability." They had built weapons like craftsmen. America built them like mathematicians. In 1942, one Garand cost $83 to make. By 1945, only $31. Efficiency was the new ammunition. Time, labor, and material became weapons of war. And the numbers told a story Germany could no longer rewrite. By war's end, 5.4 million Garands stood in the hands of citizen soldiers. Each one an equation solved, a promise delivered, and a death sentence for anyone still clinging to the past. The German soldier of 1944 was brave, but bravery doesn't reload faster. He crouched behind hedgerows, his car 9.8K clutched tight, 5 rounds in a clip, each one precious. Across the field, his enemy carried an M1 Garand, 8 rounds in a single en-bloc clip, and a trigger that needed only one motion. Bang, 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 bang. No pause, no cycle, just rhythm like a heartbeat that never stopped. A German rifleman could fire 15 aimed shots per minute, an American 40 or more. Multiply that by a full squad, and you didn't get parity. You got annihilation. Where Germany fielded one MG-42 as the squad's anchor, America fielded 10 Garands, each a semi-automatic machine unto itself. The doctrine built around the machine gun was shattered. Now, every foxhole was its own fortress. In the claustrophobic hedgerows of Normandy, the range didn't matter anymore. Speed did, volume did, and the man with the Garand wasn't just shooting, he was commanding the tempo of war. Behind every trigger pulled in Europe, there was a hand pulling a lever in America. In the heart of Massachusetts, in the factories of Springfield Armory, Winchester, and International Harvester, the real war was not being fought with bullets, but with time. By 1943, the American workforce was no longer just men. 43% of the workers at Springfield were women. 5,210 women, mothers, wives, daughters, who had traded aprons for overalls, lipstick for welding masks. They weren't soldiers, but they built the weapons that kept soldiers alive. Each M1 Garand that rolled off the line carried fingerprints of hundreds. The machinist, the inspector, the woman who fitted the stock, the one who tightened the last screw under the humming lights. They worked 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, often never told what exactly they were making, only that it was for the boys overseas. The output was staggering. By 1945, America was producing one Garand every 20 seconds and 20 million rounds of ammunition every day. The Germans had precision, America had people, and a system that turned their effort into unstoppable rhythm. This was democracy in steel form. Ordinary lives forged into extraordinary power. December 1944. Snow, silence, and steel. Hitler's last gamble had begun. The Battle of the Bulge. A storm of armor and men crashing through the Ardennes, catching the Allies completely by surprise. For the Americans holding the frozen line, there was no air support, no armor advantage. Just foxholes, frostbite, and the Garand. At Elsenborn Ridge, the 99th Infantry Division outnumbered 3-1, dug in beneath the snow, their rifles freezing in their hands. But the Garand didn't care about the cold. Its gas system still cycled, its 8 rounds still fired like clockwork. A German attack that should have lasted 10 minutes, stalled for an hour, then broke. A sergeant later said, "We just kept firing. 8 rounds, reload. 8 more rounds." The Germans couldn't move. The semi-automatic rifle had turned defense into a storm. The attackers were buried beneath the rhythm of American fire. A metallic heartbeat echoing through the snow. Captured reports from the 12th SS Panzer read, "Enemy rifle fire continuous. Impossible to advance." The Wehrmacht's greatest offensive was being shattered not by tanks, but by triggers. By 1945, Germany's fortresses were silent, its rifles empty, its soldiers outgunned and outnumbered. But across the ruined towns of Europe, one sound still echoed, the ping of an empty Garand clip. To some, it meant hope. To others, it meant the end. The M1 Garand was more than a rifle. It was the physical embodiment of a nation's philosophy, that every citizen could be a soldier, and every soldier deserved the best weapon. It shattered centuries of military tradition, where power belonged to the elite. Now, power was mass-produced. Democracy had found its trigger. General George S. Patton wrote in 1945, "In my opinion, the M1 rifle is the greatest battle implement ever devised." He wasn't exaggerating. The M1 didn't just win battles. It rewrote the rules of them. It birthed the lineage of every modern infantry weapon. The German St. G44, the Soviet AK-47, the American M14, all carried the Garand's DNA. It proved that war in the modern age was not won by heroes or legends, but by systems, by engineers, by workers, by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And for the German soldiers who survived, they would remember that sound, that sharp, ringing ping, as the anthem of an enemy who never stopped firing.